on the all-time list with more than 2,200 yards. And over the past decade plus, as Willis McGahee alluded to, there have been so many outstanding running backs to come through the program. McGahee, Edgerrin James, Clinton Portis, who we heard from earlier before them, Alonzo Highsmith, Melvin Bratton from the 80s, O.J. Anderson, of course, who went on to have a great NFL career. So Cooper, with a year to go, hopefully he regains the health, climbing up the charts. Some outstanding moves shown in the secondary, and there he is, Storm Johnson, true freshman out of Loganville, Georgia.
And Storm Johnson showing you why everybody's excited about his performance over the past few weeks in spring football. He's fast, he's quick, he's got great vision downfield, he makes people miss, and then also he knows how to finish runs. And he wants everybody to finish plays, and on that play, Storm finishes the run, running over a defender, you know, and actually punishing style of run coming back from for these Miami Hurricane running backs. There you see he's open field, makes a cut, spins back around, and then lowers his shoulder, picks up a couple extra yards.
Strength and speed, the combination for Johnson at 6 feet, 212 pounds. Morris on the move, overthrows a wide open Aldarius Johnson. A tough pass for the youngster Morris. Johnson again looking to rebound after a subpar sophomore season, a sophomore slump for Johnson. As a freshman, led the team in catches and receiving yards. Last year the numbers slipped, only 16 catches and 276 yards for Johnson. Just as running backs have been pushed here in recent memory at the University of Miami, the same can be said for this wide receiver position. You cannot afford to slip up in practice and certainly during games. LaRon Byrd had no chance for that one. Stepping in his path, Tyrone Cornelius, true freshman linebacker out of Stone Mountain, Georgia.
There's Stephen Morris has the same problem as his teammate A.J. Highsmith on that play. Actually fixes his eyes on the receiver, giving the linebacker a chance to jump the route. It's something that's definitely going to be studied in the film after today's game, and I'm sure Mark Whipple will be working to correct that with his young quarterbacks.
A couple of linebackers missing from competition today that'll provide depth at the position. Ramon Buchanan and Jordan Futch. There's a slow developing play, and Travis Benjamin is wrapped up by no less than 3 Hurricanes, including outside linebacker C.J. Holton, an impressive sophomore out of Crawfordville, Florida.
On that play, you're relying on the wide receiver Aldarius Johnson that split out there on the wide side to make the block on that, to seal it, to give him a chance to run. Didn't happen on that play, but that seems like the execution of this offense is still within the parameters of what Mark Whipple would like.
And the education continues for Stephen Morris and many of these young Canes, with our fourth quarter winding down. Another look at the first team offense on the field right now. A couple of first stringers along the offensive line. Brandon Washington, Harlan Gunn, Ben Jones, as A.J. Highsmith hands off to James, but again an overpowering UM defensive line.
Yeah, it seemed like in the first part of the scrimmage that the offensive line was dominating up front, and it seems as the days worn on that some of those big uglies up front maybe getting a little winded. To see some hands on the hips, which is a sure sign of some fatigue. I'm sure Jeff Stoutland will address that as well, but I think Jeff Stoutland has done a great job over the course of the past few years putting his system in as offensive line drills and as the position calls for it. What you find with a Jeff Stoutland offensive line is a lot of guys that are very close, very tight-knit group, communicate very well on that offensive line, know that they can rely on each other, and there's a whole lot of trust in that room that has developed over the course of the last 3 years.
Malcolm Bunch is able to provide a safety net for Damian Berry on the sideline. Berry picking up steam here in the second half after a slow start and showed a nice cutback on that play. He's got the numbers up to 62 yards. And Berry last year led the team with 8 rushing touchdowns and would respond as the chants would cascade down in the Hurricane Stadium of Berry, imploring the coaches to get the fan favorite involved. Backs are in the I formation. Tompkins, receiver in motion. They give it to the deep back Berry, who struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. We do have guys up front with experience. Tyler Horn expected to take over for the departed A.J. Trump at center. Horn, number 63 out of Memphis. The junior appeared in 7 games last year, including 4 at that all-important center position. Harlan Gunn at offensive guard, 5 starts last year. 5 games played by Ben Jones as well on the right side of your screen, number 55. Orlando Franklin, Joel Figueroa, the most experience along the offensive line. Both of those guys scratched from today's lineup. And look at big number 72. One of those guys you're talking about that can fill up the screen. 6'4", 330-pound sophomore Brandon Washington.
And Coach Stoughton really loves this guy. You know, he's starting to put it all together. Sure, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, but the mental aspect of the game, he's been able to catch on this last spring, and it's provided all the difference for his position.
Brandon McGee making the tackle in the backfield. Contributed last year as a true freshman. A couple tackles on the year against Georgia Tech and North Carolina. Well, KC, as these players adjourn following the spring schedule, what do they have to look forward to in the summer? What are the coaches expecting out of them before they head back in the fall and focus on that first game against Florida A&M?
Well, after spring ball, there's actually no more coaching going on. The coaches actually have to rely on the leadership of the teams, of the team, to actually organize workouts to get guys back on the field. You'll see quarterbacks working with receivers. You'll see running backs working on drills with linebackers. You'll see offensive and defensive line working together on one-on-one drills. Nothing is supervised by the coaches due to NCAA guidelines. But this is where you really find the leaders of your team. Who's going to go the extra mile? Who's going to actually do the things that nobody else wants to do in order to ensure the success of this program? And in the past couple springs, I've been witness to this. Guys going out, spending extra time after practice, after the workouts in the morning, getting better on their techniques as far as blocking, as far as pass rushing, pass defense, pass receiving. That's what it takes to get to the next level. And I think these guys are finally understanding that. You know, Randy Shannon can only say so much. He has to rely and trust his leaders on both sides of the ball, on the offense and the defense, to provide that leadership, to get guys motivated, to do the extra work that is the difference between being also ran in the ACC or getting to that ACC championship game.
Always so tough in the conference, especially in that Coastal Division with powers like North Carolina, Georgia Tech, and perennial strong Virginia Tech on the schedule each year. What about the fact that Ja'Cory Harris has been missing from the entire spring schedule? You talk about guys that need to get back into a rhythm during the summer months. How important would that be for the Hurricanes starting quarterback?
I think it's going to be a little bit difficult getting started, but once he gets that rhythm, he'll be fine. And by the time the Florida A&M game rolls around, I think they'll be hitting on all cylinders. But they have to be prepared. That's basically just a warm-up game. That Florida A&M game at Dolphin Stadium is just a warm-up game for the big games, the red-letter games at Ohio State, in Columbus, in the Horseshoe, at Pittsburgh against a very well-coached Dave Wadenstedt Panther team. And it just gets more and more difficult after that when you get into the ACC play, which that is the most important part of the season.
5 wins to 7 to 9 last year in the Randy Shannon era. As a timeout is taken here.